Pepsi Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. Evansville winning the first semifinal 64-63 over Bradley. Creighton and Southwest Missouri State will take the court shortly. John Walters back at Kiel Center. We want to take a look at the highlights from that first thriller. And Bradley establishing defense, which translated into offense in the first half. Roberson, one of the great defensive players in the league, and more defense out of the Braves. And then at the other end, Gavin Schreier able to knock down consecutive threes to help Bradley get out to the early lead. And Roberson able to get some stuff done on the offensive end as well, as Bradley led it by 4 at the break. But Evansville has so many weapons. One of them, Chuck Heddy, able to get the layup inside. But Evansville also able to get it done from long range. Marcus Wilson, one of the great shooters in the country, 25 points on the night. And Wilson also able to run the break. A beautiful 2-on-1 fast break with Kurt Begley and Wilson on the finish. He finished, as I mentioned, with 25. And Craig Stowe, who got in some foul trouble, able to come back and hit 2 late key baskets for Evansville. And they win it 64-63. Well, if you just started catching up with the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament today and you saw that game, you saw the great action, but you missed 4 very similar games yesterday. The action was fast and frantic, and our producer Steve Kurtenbach has put together a little montage of what we saw here in the quarterfinal round. The biggest lead that any team has had in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament so far after 7 games has been 12 points. Don't expect anything different when Southwest Missouri State and Creighton get together in just a few moments. And then they came back and knocked off Southwest Missouri in Omaha 79-76. So Creighton with a 2-point victory and a 3-point victory over Southwest Missouri State in the regular season. They say it's hard to beat a team 3 times. We will find out today. The winner moves on to the finals to play Evansville. It's coming up shortly. We are between games of the Diet Pepsi Missouri Valley Conference Tournament semifinals. The top seed Evansville already able to get into the championship game. And you know, the 2 halves of that game against Bradley were really a microcosm of what happened in the 2 regular season games between Bradley and Evansville. In the first meeting, Bradley won by 33 points and scored a season-high 98 points. Well, look what they did in the first half today. They had 41 points. But then in the second meeting in Evansville between these two teams, Evansville had its best defensive effort of the year, holding Bradley to just 47 points. And look what happened in the second half today. Evansville scores just 22 points, or Bradley scores just 22 points rather, and Evansville's able to come out with the victory. And so there you see the brackets. Evansville has already advanced to tomorrow night's 8:30 Central Time championship game. And they are the #1 seed. They will meet either the #2 seed Creighton or the #3 seed Southwest Missouri State, two teams that tied for second place in the regular season race. And the Hair Bears are ready for this one as they want to see the Bears move on to the championship. Shortly between Creighton and Southwest Missouri State. What a tournament it has been. The margin of victory in the 7 games so far. 2 points in overtime, 4 points, 8 points, 3 points, 5 points, 1 point in overtime, and 1 point. Every game, a single-digit margin of victory. Creighton and Southwest coming up. Semifinal, Evansville beat Bradley by 1 in a dogfight. Mitch Holtis and Debbie Antonelli will have our second semifinal between Creighton and Southwest Missouri State next. Never advanced one of his teams into the league semifinals. Yesterday, it looked like the frustration would continue when the Jays trailed Illinois State by 6 at the half. But St. Louis native Corey Brandon led a second half surge. Brandon hit 4 3-pointers to keep the dream alive for at least one more day. But Southwest Missouri State shares that dream, and senior Danny Moore can get it done on both ends of the floor. He's among the conference leaders in several categories. Still, the Bears found themselves in deep trouble against Indiana State before William Fauntleroy buried a deep 3 to force overtime. SMS advanced with a 1-point win. They'll take on Creighton next. Arch Madness? You bet it is Arch Madness. 7 great games in the books already in the Diet Pepsi Missouri Valley Conference Tournament, and we expect another in this afternoon's second semifinal. We are live at the Kiel Center where State Farm proudly presents Missouri Valley Conference basketball. Today's second semifinal, the #3 seed Southwest Missouri State and the #2 seed, the Creighton Blue Jays. Welcome back, everybody. I'm John Walters. These two teams have had 2 very competitive games this season, with Creighton winning both times. And the two teams have jockeyed for position throughout the season in the conference standings. And Mitch Holtis, I would think that they're on a collision course for this semifinal this afternoon.
You're right, John. These two teams are going to collide. A coach told me earlier this week you come here for 3 reasons: to get a ring, a banner, and a trip to the NCAA tournament. And standing in the way of each other, Creighton and Southwest Missouri State. Some players understand, Debbie Antonelli, the urgency of late February and early March. Southwest Missouri has one in William Fauntleroy.
Well, you know, coaches in this league knew they had to prepare for Danny Moore and Kevin Ault. William Fauntleroy brings an entirely new dimension to Southwest Missouri State's attack. He's a key. He has improved every aspect of his game. He dictates tempo, and of course, he hit the big 3 last night. For Creighton, Ben Walker is the best rebounding guard in the Valley and guards the tough offensive assignment on the perimeter. Corey Brandon, a member of the Valley all-bench team, scored 14 points last night. Brandon and Walker combined for versatility and physical presence on the perimeter for Creighton.
Advocates of this league think both of these teams should make the NCAA tournament. It's a 92-year-old league. Only 3 players in the history of 92 years have been all-conference 4 times, including the Creighton Blue Jays' Rodney Buford, a 2,000-point scorer. Rodney Buford, one of the great scorers in the country, averaging 20 points a game, as his Creighton Blue Jays get after the Southwest Missouri State Bears, the 2 seed and the 3 seed, battling in Arch Madness. Today's game is brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Pepsi One. New Pepsi One. Great cola taste. Only 1 calorie. By Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. By Monsanto, makers of Roundup Ultra herbicide. By Prairie Farms, family of dairies, serving Mid-America quality, fresh dairy products every day. By Drury Inns, experience Drury difference. By SSM, we're in it for life. And by TWA, we want to be your airline. Southwest Missouri State and Creighton here at Kiel Center in St. Louis. One of the legendary names in college basketball history coaches Southwest Missouri, Steve Alford. The All-American in Indiana, national champion, Olympic champion, the coach at SMS. Let's take a look now at our starting lineups brought to you by Bud Light. Alford's group has Kevin Ault in the backcourt to shoot. Danny Moore, a big-time scorer in the middle. Creighton, Doug Swenson in the middle, has had the better of Moore in one of the two games this year. And Debbie talked about the guards. The head coach for the Creighton Blue Jays, Dane Altman. 5 years of improvement at Creighton. Only the late Henry Iba was able to do that in the 92-year history of the Missouri Valley Conference. He can flat coach. Let's go now, Debbie Antonelli, to your Chrysler keys to the game.
The keys for Southwest Missouri State: attack the big men, take the ball to Carla Conovis and to Doug Swenson. Build from the block. Give Danny Moore a start early. Get him some touches to set up penetration and the perimeter jumpers. For Creighton, double team, close out. Double Moore, recover to the shooters, contain dribble penetration. Creighton did not do a good job yesterday on the second rotation. They've got to do a better job of protecting the heart of their defense.
Creighton swept Southwest Missouri State during the season. But those two games were what we anticipate in this game as far as being tight and tough. Plus, on the other side of this rivalry, Creighton has been eliminated by Southwest Missouri State in 92, 96, and 97. The 96 and 97 games were first-round games. So both teams have felt frustration at the hands of the other.
Well, Creighton was picked to win the Valley this year. They finished second in a tie with SMS, but get the tiebreaker to be the #2 seed. And Creighton has beaten all 9 Valley teams this season. But both games against this club, 2-point win on a running jumper by Ryan Sears with a shot clock running down, or with a game clock running down, and a 3-pointer at Creighton. So it's a possession basketball game that I expect to be up-tempo.
Both of these coaches are used to this kind of scenario. Steve Alford, of course, the national championship in Indiana. Dane Altman took Kansas State to the NCAAs, the NIT Final Four. And here's a look at Doug Swenson, the pivot player for the Blue Jays. He and Danny Moore have gone at each other the last 2 years. And Creighton will start first with the ball.
Well, it's pretty much been publicized, the fact that Rodney Buford only got 4 points yesterday. A season low, but they got to get him off to a good start today in Creighton. And Donnie Johnson all over the glass.
And Creighton spent no time. They went right after Danny Moore, 13 seconds into the game, the foul on Moore.
Well, watch how active Rodney Buford stays on the glass with Donnie Johnson, and that's a key. Take the basketball right to Danny Moore.
Donnie Johnson just 56% at the line for the year.
The thing you got to remember about Danny Moore is that he has not fouled out of a basketball game all season, so he has the ability to play if he gets in foul trouble, as he picks up a quick one. He hasn't even played 10 seconds.
Johnson has Creighton on the board. Creighton was really tight last night against Illinois State. Of course, that was aided by the junk defenses of Illinois State.
Illinois State threw that box and one and chased Buford all over the place. And Illinois State really shut down the momentum and the rhythm of Creighton's offense.
Kevin Ault to Moore against Swenson, a double team. Now a triple, and this is Fauntleroy with 10 to shoot. Back to Moore, the fadeaway. Rebounded by Buford.
They're going to really cave in on him and pack it in, make him kick it out.
Creighton runs the floor. Donnie Johnson with a layup.
That's an advantage of the Creighton big men. They can get up and down the court. And that's what Creighton wants to do, is stretch SMS out 94 feet.
Creighton has not enjoyed success as a half-court defensive team in the last 3 weeks of the year. And you would think SMS would want to get good half-court possessions. Creighton's given up a lot of points in the last 3 weeks.
Well, that's a strength of SMS, is their balance. And Moore on the inside, Kevin Ault on the outside, who can bury the three-pointer from deep.
Ault had 3 threes against Indiana State last night in an overtime victory. And you got to think that SMS feels like It's living a bit of a miracle after the way they won last night. Ben Walker, he hits the shot. And Creighton much more fluid offensively than they were against Illinois State to start the game.
See, Rodney Buford doesn't always need to score to make himself known and his presence felt. That was a great touch pass to set up the shooter.
All launches from the corner. And Ken Stringer, who played junior college ball at Dodge City, Kansas, picks up the rebound. Oh, an even better look. Swenson with a rebound, blocking out Danny Moore. Johnson again running the floor against Bruton with a layup. Creighton gets 5 points to start the game from Donnie Johnson.
But Donnie Johnson is just running from baseline to baseline, and SMS is not getting back in their transition defense fast enough.
Let's take a look now at Rodney Buford's touch pass. He's known as a scorer, but sometimes he'll create scores.
You know, Rodney Buford wants to win. It doesn't matter how it happens for him. He wants his club to win. He does a great job of running the offense with the touch pass, and then Ryan Sears always keeps his head up, sees the entire floor, and Donnie Johnson is rewarded for running the floor.
Stringer, he's been tough the last couple of weeks and been able to score at 24 at Evansville in the showdown game in the regular season. Johnson again runs the floor. This is out of bounds. Last touch by Donnie Johnson of Creighton. The Blue Jays lead by 3 early. We played almost 3 minutes.
Boy, that's a cheap foul for Doug Swenson to pick up out on the perimeter. That's not a good foul for Doug Swenson. He's going to be in there battling and fighting for position on the physical side of things between the blocks. You can see he's not happy at all.
Eight to 5 Creighton, 17-11 left, and Nereus Karlikonovas, the only foreign player in the history of Creighton basketball. He's in the game now, and there's going to be a foul on Karlikonovas underneath. Tim Hutchison's going to call a foul on the Lithuanian, his first and the team's second. Karlikonovas, we saw him, Debbie, unite in Springfield when he had 20 points and 8 rebounds and was the difference in the game when Creighton beat SMS in Springfield.
Well, a big part of the game there, as it has started today, is the fact that the big guys get up and down the floor. Karlikonovas and Swenson combined for 6 for 8 from beyond the three-point line.
It was the first ever win by Creighton in Springfield. 24 to shoot, more with the turnaround against Karlikonovas. And Ben Walker, you talk about his rebounding prowess as a guard, pulls it down for Creighton.
Well, he's strong and he goes to the glass every time on each possession. He's physical, as you said before. He's your kind of guy, Mitch, a football type guy, recruited by 7 of the 11 Big Ten schools.
Karlikonovas nearly walked with it. Steve Alford thought he did. Goes to the glass and Moore defends him well. Karlikonovas somehow took it away from Moore to get an easy layup.
Danny Moore's got to be tougher in there with the basketball.
A steal and a bucket by the Lithuanian. And now what? We got a technical foul? No, a timeout maybe. Oh, a technical. Steve Alford's been called for a technical foul with 16-17 left in the first half as Tim Hutchison whistles a technical against Coach Steve Alford.
And you can see his father, Sam, pulling him back, telling him, settle down. Steve Alford wants to talk to that official and find out what he said or why the technical foul was called. But what that does, Mitch, it takes possession away. Matter of fact, SMS had a layup. Now it puts Ryan Sears, a terrific free throw shooter, on the line.
Sears with the free throw, an 83%er. He'll get another one. Now Steve Alford has to be careful. The second technical. Let's take a look at what Steve Alford is mad about.
Well, it has to do with Danny Moore underneath the basket getting stripped. Watch the play inside. Karlikonovas comes in. It's hard to see from that angle, but it looks like he pulled the ball out of Danny Moore's hands. And obviously Coach Alford thought there was a foul there.
Had a pretty good point, but he gets teed up here, and his team trails by 7. Sears pull up from the elbow. He's been cold in this tournament. Karlikonovas gets the offensive rebound. And the Lithuanian has given Creighton a lift early in the game. Walker, all bumping him. Walker to the cup, lays it into the left hand. Ben Walker has 5 early.
That's what Ben Walker can do to help this club, is use his physical stature to get into the heart of the defense. He's strong in traffic.
William Fauntleroy missing that 3-point attempt. Buford and Creighton wants to run. The numbers at the advantage of the defenders. Posting up Cliff Bates, and that's a bonus 2 points. Bates only averages 3 points per game. Hasn't even played that much in the last 3 weeks. On a 20-second timeout called by Southwest Missouri State. Creighton leads SMS 16-5 as the Blue Jays out of the blocks big time.
And again, it's not Rodney Buford, Doug Swinson, or Ryan Sears that are scoring the points for the Creighton Blue Jays. It's been everybody else. It's been by committee offensively for Dana Altman. He was pretty inspirational at shoot-around today. We heard he was very excited about the game and how he thought his team would perform. Very confident, very positive with his players. They know they didn't play well last night, but they survive, and that's the important thing when you get to postseason play. Survive and advance.
And particularly since they had not had success in St. Louis. They hadn't won a game in the tournament since 1991, a year they won it. They'd won it twice in the 80s, once in the late 70s, but it felt like he got over a hurdle by getting through that game last night.
It was a terrific win for the entire Creighton program and for Dana himself.
In the game now, Matt Reeder for Southwest Missouri State in the middle. 11-point lead for Creighton here early. SMS will reset.
But SMS had a great win last night, too, in overtime, where Royce Waltman's players at Indiana State couldn't have played any harder.
This is going to be an offensive foul on Southwest Missouri State. And right now, Tim Hutchison is not going to get an Easter gift from Steve Alford. Steve Alford and Tim Hutchison are going at it, nose to nose. We'll be back after this. State 16-5 in our second semifinal game. Steve Alford had passion as a player. He has passion as a coach, and upset with Tim Hutchison about the call on the non-call on Danny Moore.
Well, I think actually he's just telling Tim Hutchison that, you know, you forget I had 107 three-pointers my senior year at college. I think that's what he's going over with him right there.
Yeah. I was Big Ten MVP several times.
That's right.
Tim Hutchison had teed up Alford at 16-17. In the half, we're now at the 15-minute mark. Creighton with possession and the ball.
You know, SMS trailed in a similar situation like this both times that they faced Creighton and were able to battle back. So they're not shooting the ball well right now, but their defense has got to start generating. Creighton shooting 67% from the floor early in this game.
No, and Southwest Missouri State has the ability to score from many different factions. So, and now a turnover by Rodney Buford.
Here's the pressure, the weave offensively for Creighton. They think that gets Rodney Buford moving in the offense quite a bit, and SMS shut it down. Keep in mind, Southwest Missouri #1 in the Missouri Valley Conference in turnover margin. They're going to try to get it away from you, and they don't turn it over much themselves. Creighton in a man-to-man. Alt, he gets chest bumped up top by Corey Brandon. First foul on Brandon, 14 fouls on Creighton. And I'm sure Steve Alford, too, trying to keep a fire lit under his team. He likes this team. 20 wins. Best defensive team he's had. Definitely postseason play for these guys somewhere.
Phillips pull up. Reeder, he's fouled from behind by Sears. First foul on Sears, and Creighton has a problem, although they have an 11-point lead because they have 5 team fouls already and 14-13 left in the first half.
You know, in a league this season, the toughest the Valley has ever been with an RPI around 7. SMS has the highest RPI of any individual school in the Valley.
Steve Alford's team, the unofficial Missouri State champions, beat Mizzou, a team that thinks they're going to get to the NCAAs. Won here at St. Louis, beat UMKC and Southeast Missouri State. A feat that SMS is very proud of. Alt throws it away right to Sears. But Sears saw Fauntleroy at the corner of his eye. Buford, Sears relocating, wants a 3. Too strong, will chase down the loose ball. He's going to keep on shooting it. He's been called in the tournament. He hit his first one last night, missed his next 6, gets his first 3 of this game, and Creighton leads 19-5.
Last night in the game, we didn't see Creighton play this 1-2-2 3-quarter passive press to slow Illinois State down. They match up at it, but they didn't match up very well that time as Phillips got an open look.
Alan Phillips hits a 3, a badly needed 3 for Steve Alford's team. SMS is going to go to the bench and put 3 players in the game at the next opportunity. You know, Creighton had a hard time getting that 1-2-1-1 last night because they just couldn't score enough against Illinois State.
It's a good point, Mitch.
In this game, they've shown the ability to score. Sears, Rob, rebound all. Bears will run it. Rita runs the 4 and an SMS layup.
That's because Doug Swenson and Donnie Johnson were caught all the way down the floor. Couldn't get back on defense.
19-10 Creighton, 12:44 left in the first half. Swenson. Up and under, off balance. SMS, Fauntleroy, look out, he's the fastest guy in the league end to end. Stripped by Sears. It's a tie-up. Should be a simultaneous tie-up here. The arrow points to Southwest Missouri State. David Hall's going to go to the arrow.
Mitch, has the level of intensity picked up a few notches here in the last minute or two of the game clock? Watch Fauntleroy right here. Watch Ryan Sears. He's going to make a terrific defensive play with a strip right there. And then the scrum for the ball. Sears trying to get the timeout.
And a good call by the official, a simultaneous possession, held ball called, meaning it goes to the arrow. The arrow points to Southwest Missouri. And to avoid a 5 count, Alan Phillips calls timeout. SMS will use another 20. Steve Alford still not happy. There's his father, Sam. If you haven't watched Southwest Missouri State before, the dad works for the son here. Sam Alford was at Newcastle Chrysler High School for a long, long time, and then Steve able to hire Sam on his staff at Southwest Missouri State. Their arena at Newcastle Chrysler High School seats almost 10,000 people.
After 29 years of coaching high school basketball, you'd think Sam Alford knows quite a bit, enough to help his son. And look how passionate Steve Alford is about getting his club fired up a little bit.
He thinks it's a game against Purdue for the Big Ten title. Southwest Missouri State shooting 4 of 10 from the field. Creighton 7 of 13. Much different for the Blue Jays than last night, when they were pulling teeth in the first half to try to score. Nice play. Bentonhausen, the senior, has played more games than any player in SMS history. Gets a 2 off an inbounds play. And Southwest Missouri jumping the passing lanes.
I like the 3-guard look that Creighton goes with Walker, Brandon, and Sears on the floor. They can really get some up-tempo at the offensive end.
Lauren Swenson, battle, 2-man game. Walker for 3. Way off, and a good rebound by Phillips. And Phillips is picking up SMS here. Fauntleroy, laser light shove to the basket, missed the layup. It's a foul on Creighton.
Well, he has got an explosive, quick first step. You know, we talked about prepping for Danny Moore and Kevin Alt. William Fauntleroy has elevated SMS's game. They were 16 and 16 last year, and William Fauntleroy, improving every aspect of his game, has gotten SMS 20 wins this season. That's explosive right there.
He had 38, William Fauntleroy did. In the game in Omaha, career high. 68% foul line shooter. When he decides to go to the basket, Debbie, there's nobody in this league, I don't think, that can, unless they have a head start, they're not going to beat him.
He's fast.
Yeah, this is career high.
He's tough to contain. You've got to give him a little bit of a cushion. He's better off the dribble than he is at shooting it beyond the arc.
But you know what I like about him? He's much more consistent for Steve Alford's team. He would have a great game, then go down for a couple games. But he's playing every time now. Sign man going to work again. Creighton has seen SMS go on a 9-0 run over the last 1 minute and 45 seconds. On the other side of that sign, it said, Alford is a step above the norm, meaning Norm Stewart at Missouri. SMS is proud that they're the Missouri State champions this year. Their win over Mizzou back in November. There's the run by SMS.
Outscored Creighton 9-zip over the last minute and 45.
Again, a technical was called on Steve Alford at the 16-14 mark. What's happened since then?
Well, Creighton was leading 10-4 or 10-5, and since then, Creighton has still continued to outscore SMS, but their defense has certainly picked it up a notch.
Margin still the same since the technical. Sears hit it.
It's so important for Ryan Sears to keep shooting the basketball. Even though he missed his first three, he is a shooter, and when you have that kind of mentality, you got to shoot your way out.
He was only 1 for 7 last night. He had his first try.
Well, Buford, Swenson, and Ryan Sears were combined 4 for 21 from the floor. Dane Altman, I'm sure, did never expect to win a game with his 3 top scorers. Not really being able to perform offensively.
More hammer. Donnie Johnson involved, and he'll draw the foul. Sears can shoot it. He had 5 against Evansville, 5 against Illinois State from 3-point range, and the foul on Johnson, his second.
Watch the collapse inside on Danny Moore. 3 white jerseys, and Donnie Johnson picks up the foul. Right there, you just got to rely on the plane of verticality. You've got to close in on Moore, but be straight up with him and try to be physical, but don't reach.
Danny Moore, free throw down. That is his 1628th point of his career. 519, now 520, had come at the foul line. So nearly 33% of Danny Moore's points have been at the foul line. If you're 6'11" and can shoot free throws, you're going to score a bunch of points.
Well, he can shoot it from the elbow, that's for sure. Of course, his offensive skill and his footwork is so much better on the blocks.
Excellent point. There's a kick by Fauntleroy. 22-16. As there's a look at Danny Moore and Rodney Buford, both Missouri Valley Conference first team selections. Buford's already scored 2,000 points. Danny Moore not far from it. Fresh clock for Creighton to work. One-on-one, Walker gets around Bettenhausen, gets a screen and scores. Nice screen by Carliconis.
What a great screen by Carliconis. He was calling for Walker to come that way the entire time so he could set up that play. Rodney Buford causes some havoc on the defensive end.
Now that's where he's best. I don't think Rodney's going to win any basketball camp awards for half-court defense, but where he will defend, and he's got a bunch of steals this year. He's the all-time Creighton leader in steals, but he gets them in that open floor situation.
Because he's long and active, and he reads the passing lanes. Plus, he knows sometimes at the end of those steals is a high-flying dunk, and easy too.
A chance to score.
It's a little motivation to play some defense.
This is what he likes best. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Carliconis can't convert, and Danny Moore with the rebound. Bears down 8. Look out, Fauntleroy. Zooms too fast. Stolen by Sears. Now, SMS is going to argue that Fauntleroy forced the held ball, but I think they're going to call it simultaneous. It goes to the air, it goes to Creighton. Fauntleroy that time almost a little too sped up.
Just a little bit out of control. Fauntleroy, once you penetrate that deep, you need to pull up and shoot it. The numbers weren't there defensively or offensively, but at least he stays after it hard and hustles, and Ryan Sears hits the deck also.
Looked like a scene from Braveheart. There were arms and legs going everywhere. 24-16, and now SMS forces a turnover. Matt West is playing. He's been sick. Couldn't handle the pass. Here's a look at Matt West, the junior from Omaha. SMS has it back.
The 2-2-1.
Moore ISO against Carliconis, and he'll get him every time one-on-one. 4 for Danny Moore. If he gets you pinned one-on-one like that, you can put it in the scorebook.
That's right. That's why you got to try to turn him into a passer. You know, we talk about Danny not having a lot of assists, only 15 on the season. But since the last time we had SMS at Bradley, he's had an assist a game, Mitch.
The first basket of the day for Rodney Buford. It comes at 8:56 left in the half. Now, we need to tell you, only had 4 in the entire game against Illinois State last night. The fewest points in a game for Rodney Buford since his first game his freshman season, when he had 3 points. Last night 4, today 2, but look at his season average.
He was 2 for 10 in the game last night. No free throws. That's a big part of Rodney Buford's game, is getting to the line. He's got to be more aggressive and not settle for the jumper all the time, but to take the ball to the basket. That way he can create other passing angles to set up the perimeter game also.
Yeah, good point. In his career, he's only been, in his career in the Arch Madness Missouri Valley Conference postseason tournament, he's only been to the line 8 times. Didn't get there at all last night. 26-20. 6-point lead for Creighton. Buford double team. Sears. Creighton can't shift the floor. Everything's on the right side right now.
Need to reverse the basketball, shift to defense.
Buford. Steal. Phillips. It'll be dunk city for the Bears.
What a great defensive play. Phillips read that the entire way. That's what happens when you hang on to the basketball too long and dribble with no purpose.
Ben Altman wants a 20. His team led big early, and now they have a 4-point lead at 26-22 with 8:13 left in the first half.
Alan Phillips says, I like beefing up my defensive numbers. This is too easy. Uncontested the other way. And you're right, Mitch. We knew what was going to happen here.
Alan Phillips, junior college transfer, has 10 off the bench. Last night in points, he had 22 against Creighton in Springfield. That was his career high.
20 in the second half.
Kept his team in the game almost single-handedly. Southwest Missouri State 8:13 left in the first half, trailing Creighton by 4. Carla Conovis has set up a special play for a Ben Walker layup. Excellent work by Dana Altman.
They run the scissor cut off the high post, and Carla Conovis makes a great pass.
And a well-spent 20 by the Creighton bench. Now a steal by Carla Conovis. West has it. And a foul on Ken Stringer of Southwest Missouri State.
You know, Rodney Buford can see right here that if he moves block to block with Stringer on him, Buford's got a few inches on him, of course, and an excellent vertical to shoot over any guy trying to guard him in the post.
Creighton goes to a special play and a Ben Walker bucket to give him a 6-point advantage. But Alan Phillips has 5 of the SMS 22 points.
That's because of the defensive work. Now watch Phillips right here. He's guarding West over here on the right side of your screen. Now Creighton gets very stationary in their offense on the weak side. Matt West is milling around, and then watch Phillips right here. Reads the passing lane, and he is gone. And we know what's going to happen at that end of the floor.
Creighton 11 of 19 from the field, 58%. SMS at 7 of 13 for 54%. 7:38 left in the first half. The winner of this game will play the #1 seed, the Purple Aces of Evansville. Able to rally and beat Bradley earlier today. Evansville now with 23 wins on the season. 15 to shoot for Creighton.
Good ball fake by Brian Sears. Trying to keep Fauntleroy honest on the defense.
6 seconds to shoot. Matt West gets a layup.
What a big play by Matt West on the ball reverse. The defense doesn't shift fast enough.
Matt West from West Side High School in Omaha. You know, Rodney Buford's just not getting many touches for Creighton. Moore, all for 3. Good pass by Moore, but all can't knock it down. Carla Conovis, I think, has a problem with his shoot. Creighton's 4 on 5, but one of those guys is Buford. Can't get it done. Buford just 2 points in the game.
Well, he's got an ankle brace on, and that's come untied. And that's what's giving him problems.
30 to 22. Doug Swenson is sitting down with 2 fouls. So is Johnny Johnson with 2. That's why Carla Conovis is in the game.
Creighton back into the zone.
Moore goes out and shoots it. And the lanky Rodney Buford, fourth in the conference in rebounding, has the board.
That's a shot that Creighton wants Danny Moore to take. They want to push him off the box, make him face up.
Karlikonovas joining, getting his ankle brace tight and scoops it in for two. He was at the other end. Most of that possession, he was 60 feet away, tying up his ankle brace.
And Ryan Sears waited for him.
32-22. It's almost like they tricked Southwest Missouri State. Phillips is keeping the gentleman from Springfield in the game. It's a Creighton 8-point lead over Southwest Missouri State, 32-24.
And he's doing it again, Mitch. They're playing 4-on-5. Got plenty of time with the shot clock.
He'll come flying in again. The old Creighton secret weapon, tie your ankle brace, and come in at the last 15 seconds play.
That's better than the old picket fence play. The old Statue of Liberty play.
Don't get caught watching the Lithuanian run across the midcourt line. Let's take a look at this now, and the tricky play by Karlikonovas.
Well, first he had to tie the ankle brace. Now he's going to tie the shoe.
Here he comes. Watch it.
Now Ryan Sears says, okay, you ready? Here we go. Spread out, SMS. Left him one-on-one with Danny Moore.
There'll be coaches all across the country taping that and trying to use that play during the NCAA tournament.
Could be the play of the day, Mitch.
Hang on to it, guys and gals in the truck. 32-24, 5:15 left in the half. Creighton has an 8-point lead.
Yes, SMS has really done a good job of slowing Creighton down right here.
Loose ball, Karlikonovas traveled. Southwest Missouri trying to get the basketball. Dana Altman didn't like it, as he'll protest.
He'll protest, but look, he's staying in that box. He's already seen what can happen when you step out of that coaching box.
Steve Alford was teed up. Less than 4 minutes into the game. Oh, good ball fake. Reeder can't get the shot, and Buford with those long arms gets the board and a foul on Reeder.
Boy, when Buford wants to rebound, he can elevate and get off his feet quickly.
Creighton, the best rebounding team in the Missouri Valley Conference. They really pounded Southwest Missouri State on the boards in the game in Omaha.
You know, Mitch, I often wonder if the plane of verticality applies to the coach's box, because, you know, they toe that line, but they lean over as far as they can.
Karlikonovas, he's been aggressive. This could be an offensive foul. Yes, it is. William Fauntleroy takes the charge. And Nereus Karlikonovas has drawn his third foul, I believe. Third foul on the Lithuanian.
He's going to have to take a seat. Watch this right here. Karlikonovas is working hard. Fauntleroy steps in. You know, we talk about improving all aspects of his game. We're not just talking about the offensive end.
Creighton has foul trouble on the inside now. Swenson 2, Johnson 2, Karlikonovas 3. Phillips with the scoop at the cup. Allen Phillips has 9 of the Southwest Missouri State 26 points, and Matt West is injured. Matt West goes down. And Mike Sanzier talking to Dana Altman as he looks at his injured player. His trainer, Steve Brace, dealing with Matt West.
It gives Dana Altman a chance to have a little conversation out there also. Boy, Allen Phillips, you talk about taking it strong to the hole.
Well, Matt West thought he had taken the charge. And he got the worst of it, and Phillips got the bucket. Phillips is now 4 for 5 from the field. He has 9 points. One of those 4 field goal makes a 3. He took a shot from Phillips on the counter.
Phillips came right down on his legs.
Swenson fans one over. Sears, and he's fouled from behind by Brute.
You know, that's the thing about perimeter players. When you see your guy on the box working hard, the officials are going to call a foul on that when you throw the ball in there, because they're evaluating advantage, disadvantage in the post. And when you have the basketball, the defense is pushing and shoving you like that, it's going to be an advantage to the offensive player.
Rodney Buford to the line. And if I'm not mistaken, for the first time in the entire tournament. Free throw good. And Rodney, 6th in the league at 81% at the foul stripe. Didn't shoot any last night. 16 fouls in this game. We kind of expected that because, one, these two teams don't like each other, and two, they both want to get to the NCAAs. That's a key game. In the semifinals, Evansville waits the winner.
Well, these teams are 2 of the top 3 offensive teams in the Valley. Defensively, that's where the game is going to be determined. In a game like this, when emotion is high and it's intense, you've got to play D and generate some offense because both coaches know what the other one's going to do.
Creighton 34, SMS 26, 3:52 left in the half. Kevin Alton, an early 3, has been shut down since then. Bruton can't handle the lob. Moore with the offhand. And there's a fight for the ball. Who's going to get the foul? Bruton's going to get it. Ron Bruton has his 2nd foul in about 30 seconds.
This game is very physical in the box right now. And with the foul trouble that Creighton has on the interior, that would favor SMS at this juncture in the game.
What was Jim Molinari saying about take the physical nature of the game, or you're going to match people physically or whatever? That's implied in this game.
He was saying you've got to engage people physically at postseason time because the coaches in this league all are so familiar with each other's systems and personnel that you've got to generate on the defensive end. You engage them physically, Mitch, because you get more physical and you see just how much you can get away with.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is you didn't have to tell either one of these teams to engage each other physically in this game.
No, you're right. We knew that was going to be the case.
Swenson's been good at the foul line the entire tournament. Hits 2 there for his first 2 points of the game. As the free throws down, a 10-point lead for Creighton. All kinds of emotion and physicals. Field Center, St. Louis. Creighton twice has had 10-point leads, including right now. They lead 36-26 over Southwest Missouri State. Creighton Blue Jay bench. They've only lost Matt West. He was taken to the locker room. The Allman's team has had to fight off some injuries and illness this year.
Well, they are certainly playing a lot better in the first half today than they played yesterday.
And he's got a walk on John Klein in the game now for Creighton, a freshman from Sioux City, Iowa, because Creighton is battling foul trouble on the front line, and Creighton's in a zone.
But you can't play Karlikonovich the remaining 3 minutes because he's got 3, and then it's a risk to put Swenson in there.
Fauntleroy misses from 3. But when you've got Ben Walker as a rebounding guard, it's almost like having an additional frontline player in the game. Buford one-on-one with Moore.
See, what is open on that when the ball goes into Buford is the diagonal. He's got to look across the court on the elbow.
Or pull up and drain it.
That would be all right, too, Mitch.
One of the few guys that can just stretch up. He can elevate. He's going to elevate. He was elevate over the defense and shoot it. He has 6. 38-26, Creighton's biggest lead of the game at 12. SMS has to get some looks for his shooters against the zone. Good feet underneath Bruton against Walker.
That's what SMS needs to do right now is attack the baseline, attack the blocks with Danny Moore in the game, with Klein on him.
Look how many guards Creighton has in the game. Walker, Sears, Brandon, 3. And an offensive foul now is going to be called on Ben Walker of Creighton running over Kevin Ault. Walker, his first foul. 10 team fouls on Creighton, but the foul was committed with possession of the ball, no free throws.
Let's watch Rodney Buford on defense right here. They're in a zone. He's got his hands down. They throw it right through him, right to the baseline. It's exactly what SMS should be doing, is attacking the basket.
Brandon Miller and a good shooter. As SMS trying to bust the zone, and Alan Phillips. What is it about Creighton and television that he likes? He has 11 in the first half. 38-30, and Dean Altman, you get the impression he's just kind of biding some time here to try to run out the clock in the half and keep the margin, but he's got foul trouble he's got to deal with.
SMS switching on perimeter screens.
Walker against Miller. This is Sears. Alt on him. 13 to shoot.
They need to reverse the basketball and attack. Buford's over there all alone.
Walker banks it in, gets a foul. It's going to count. The strength of Ben Walker.
Well, you've got to have some plays like that in a game this tight. Ben Walker, we talked about his rebounding, but it's his physical strength that makes him a great scorer with contact and traffic. See the foul right there by Miller. Wow, off the glass. Look at Ryan Sears. But watch Rodney Buford. He hasn't gone to the glass, but he's happy.
He's on the yell-hitting squad at Creighton University. Boy, that was a big-time three-point play for Ben Walker. Creighton's up 11 at 1:15 left in the half. And SMS again trying to get looks against the zone. Danny Moore much taller than anybody on the floor right now. Sears trying to defend him down low. 13 to shoot. Alt for three. Count it. Kevin Alt. His second three of the first half, his 50th of his junior season. And SMS needed that three-pointer.
You know what, Mitch? Kevin Alt gets that shot because he's worked on his medium-range game so well that you got to respect him off the dribble. And when he already leads the school in career steals, and there he almost comes up with another one.
And Kevin Alt's going to be called for the foul, coming over the top of Ben Walker. As it was another scrum for the basketball, but Alt reached over the top of Ben Walker. It'll be free throws for Ben Walker of Creighton.
You know, I think Steve Alford did a very good job after the technical of settling his club down, not letting emotions get too high, regrouping, sign of a good coach to keep his guys focused.
Walker last night, his first career double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds against Illinois State. He has 13 in this game and only averages 8 per game. William Fauntleroy back in for SMS. Ben Walker's career high against Southwest Missouri State when he had 21. And Ben Walker now has 5 consecutive points for Creighton as the Blue Jays keeping a margin here and keeping SMS at arm's length, a 9-point lead for Creighton.
Walker only averages 8 points a game. It's the end of February. He had that concussion.
And now SMS sped up and throws it away against the zone. Danny Moore right now is by far the tallest guy on the floor. Creighton going with a very small lineup, and SMS not able to get him any touches inside.
They've got to work a little harder, like we said before. You got to get the ball down there inside. Let Danny Moore go to work on the interior. He needs to work a little harder to call for the ball also. Show his teammates he wants it.
43-33, Creighton by 10. Shot clock is really not a factor. It's still eliminated, but there's only a fraction of a second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. So Creighton can run this down. And Dean Altman's going to keep his post players out of foul trouble and take a double-digit margin to halftime. So the time and the margin that he wanted, he'll take the intermission. Now Buford wants a three. Not there, halftime. Semifinal game, Arch Madness. In St. Louis, Rodney Buford has just 6 points, but his sophomore teammate Ben Walker has stepped up, as has Alan Phillips for Southwest Missouri State and Steve Alford's team. At halftime, the Creighton Blue Jays lead the Southwest Missouri State Bears 43-33. And high atop Kiel Center is our man in the host position, John Walters.
All right, thanks, Mitch and Debbie. I think your two bodies are about the only two that didn't hit the floor in a very physical and aggressive first half between these two teams, and Creighton leads it at the break, 43-33. We have a lot of halftime activities for you. We'll be back with those in just a moment. It's the Creighton Blue Jays, who never trailed in that first half, leading it by 10 at the break. And Creighton leads it by 10 at the break.
throughout this season.
Winning shots. In just their second season as a member of the Missouri Valley Conference, the Southwest Missouri State Bears were on the verge of sharing the league's regular season title when they traveled to Terre Haute, Indiana in 1992. The Bears were clinging to a 54-52 lead when Indiana State's Greg Thomas nailed a three-pointer with 3 seconds remaining to give the Sycamores a 55-54 triumph. Undaunted, the Bears would win the 1992 Diet Pepsi Missouri Valley Conference tournament 2 weeks later and represent the Valley in the NCAA tournament.
State Farm proudly presents the Just Read program. Over the course of this Missouri Valley Conference season, we've shown you one of the things that makes this such a great league: the students and their commitment to the community. Our travels have taken us from Bradley to Davis Park Elementary in Terre Haute.
Not only did he not have presents for his friends, but they had no stockings to put the presents in. The teachers get to pick what we read. Sometimes the book's a little long, sometimes there's hard words in there, but yeah, the kids really, it's fun though.
And checked in on Clifford, the big dog around Wichita.
State Farm salutes the student athletes from the Missouri Valley Conference. Because of their commitment and love of reading, a new generation of young people will have the opportunity to broaden their horizons and be challenged to open a book and open their minds.
The Just Read program is proudly presented by the Missouri Valley Conference and State Farm Insurance.
When you choose
Bradley's Hersey Hawkins, the consensus National Player of the Year during the 1987-88 season. Hawkins is the only player in the 92-year history of the Missouri Valley Conference to score 3,000 points in a career. Drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers in 1988, Hawkins helped guide the Seattle Sonics to the 1996 NBA Finals against the Chicago Bulls. A charter member of the Valley's Hall of Fame, Bradley's Hersey Hawkins, a Vandecamp's Frozen in Time legend. Creighton is trying to finish off a season sweep of Southwest Missouri State. They already won the first 2 games. Now they're halfway to winning this one with a 43-33 halftime lead. John Walters back at Kiel Center. These are 2 of the better offensive teams in the Missouri Valley Conference, and that's reflected in our TWA halftime statistics. Both teams shooting the ball well from the floor, but Creighton getting more shot attempts and also getting to the line more, and you can see why with the rebound advantage for the Blue Jays, 13-8. Also points off turnovers in Creighton's advantage as they lead it by 10 at halftime. Evansville awaits the winner of this one. The Aces have already knocked off Bradley earlier today, 64-63, and in this one, Creighton leads it by 10 at the break.
One of the things Creighton has been able to win with this year, and they've got some great wins, winning at Iowa, beating Oklahoma State, but they've had tremendous depth this year, and that's showing up in this tournament.
Well, they've got balance. They've got guys who can score on the inside, but Mitch, you're right. The leading scorers for Creighton have not been able to get off the mark in this tournament, including last night. Doug Swinson with foul trouble. Ryan Sears struggling a little bit from the floor, but Rodney Buford not a factor as much as he has been through the course of the season offensively.
Creighton struggled last night early in the game against Illinois State. They didn't waste any time in this game. Let's take a look at the highlights.
For Southwest Missouri State, it's been Alan Phillips off the bench. You talk about the depth of Creighton. Well, Phillips has stepped up his play. 5 for 6 from the floor, 11 points. And of course, that's an easy one right there. But Kevin Hall, we know he can drain it deep. You've got to contain and contest that guy. But for Creighton, Ben Walker, 14 first half points, and he's been an animal on the glass. His physical presence has been a factor. Ryan Sears starting to come alive a little bit. And then the play that you love, Mitch. The old tie your shoe, run down the floor and score play. And Karlikonovas, although he's got 3 fouls, he had 4 first half points.
There's your leading scorers. Phillips has kept it close with 11. Danny Moore only has 6, and Auld only has 6. That's the 2 leading scorers for the season for Southwest Missouri State. On the other side, Ben Walker, 14. Rodney Buford, only 6, averaging 19 per game. So the normal scores usually at the top of that list, aren't there. But there's been enough Creighton points from Ben Walker to give them a 10-point lead. And there's Rodney Buford on the verge of becoming one of the top 10 scorers in the 92-year history of the Missouri Valley Conference.
Doug Swenson only played 6 minutes in the first half, so he should be fresh. Donnie Johnson, 7 minutes for Creighton.
Stringer, just 2 points. Phillips against Buford. 17 to shoot. Holding foul against Donnie Johnson, and that's his 3rd foul.
Well, Donnie Johnson is trying to front Danny Moore, and Danny Moore's work off the basketball sets up that foul. If Danny Moore was content to stand there, let people front him, he'd never catch, but he's working off the basketball, trying to get in position to receive.
Phillips fans 1-0. Fresh clock. Phillips attacking Buford. He'll score, and a foul on Creighton.
What a great use of the left. Alan Phillips has really come to play. Gosh, he's quick on the baseline. He's got a great first step.
Rodney Buford not doing a good job of on-ball defense. Phillips. How about Alan Phillips? 14 points, 4 over his average. And we still have half the game to go. He had 22 in Springfield against Creighton, just 1 in Omaha.
You know, you plan and prepare for Danny Moore. You plan for Kevin Alt. Then Phillips makes a statement. He makes you make adjustments as the game goes on because he's athletic. He can get to the rim. Plays good defense off the basketball.
Then you make game plans for Buford and Swenson, and Donnie Johnson almost cut your heart. He misses the layup.
Ben Walker, Corey Brandon. I mean, that's what happens in games like this. You got to have everybody contribute and step up.
43-36, Creighton by 7. 50 seconds into the second half. Evansville won the earlier game today after trailing the Bradley Braves. Walker blocked by Moore. Out of bounds, last touch by Ben Walker. Danny Moore, a big presence in the middle. The best shot blocker in Southwest Missouri State history.
And Ben Walker just put his head down and decided he was going to go to the basket. Got caught down the baseline.
Alt was spotted up for 3. Johnson prevented it. Moore defended by Donnie Johnson right now. In the middle, you see the battle going on to the left of your middle of your screen. Alt launches. Count it. Kevin Alt knocks it down. He's got 9 all on 3-point bombs from bonus distance.
You know, Creighton was very good in the start of the first half at pushing the basketball up the floor. Got some transition baskets, and SMS has taken that away.
Donnie Johnson fouled underneath.
With Swenson and Johnson back in the basketball game for Creighton, they need to get up-tempo again and stretch the SMS defense.
Let's look at the patience of SMS in the last possession.
Well, Kevin Alt is wide open. He's calling for the basketball, and Ryan Sears can't get back in time to recover.
Kevin Alt now has 3 personal fouls. Rodney Buford now has a 3, his first 3 of the tournament. His 49th of the season. He's one of the top 3-point shooters in the league, and now a steal by Ben Walker.
What a terrific defensive play by Walker. He's been everywhere. He's on the glass.
Creighton, though, needs to score to get their pressure going. Swenson missing. Donnie Johnson can't fall on Stringer there for Southwest Missouri State. Fauntleroy, nice dish. Moore to the finish. Moore only his second field goal of the game. He's got 8.
You know, I think Fauntleroy needs to step up his play right now, too. In the first half, he wasn't really the barometer that he is for SMS. He wasn't forcing things offensively.
46-41 Creighton.
And defensively, he's got Walker, and that is a tough assignment today.
Backs off Walker here. Swenson against Moore. 2-man game that is stopped, and a foul on Ben Walker, who tackles William Fauntleroy.
You know,
it's a 1-yard gain for William Fauntleroy.
Mitch, a little out of practice, haven't had to call a football game for months, huh? Watch this right here. Creighton keeps the ball on the same side of the floor. What happens there is SMS is able to shift their defense strong to ball side. When you don't reverse the ball, you don't make them shift back, and they can camp on strong side. That's why SMS was able to come up with that steal.
Walker was called. Fauntleroy pops up the three. Sears can't get the rebound. SMS, a little more purpose here to start the second half. Swenson can't handle the rebound. It's out of bounds. Saved on a hustling play by the Bears. Fauntleroy pull up. Alan Phillips saved the possession. Alt hits the floor. He's injured. It's picked up by Creighton, and Steve Alford upset. Kevin Alt hit the floor in his midsection. Kevin Alt is injured. And a foul on Southwest Missouri. See Kevin Alt crouching at the right elbow. Kevin Alt got nailed. Let's take a look at how he was injured. Pretty good look there. Then Alt took a shot to the midsection. I don't know how mid the midsection is. Might be lower midsection. Foul on Danny Moore. That's his second. Team foul number 3 on Southwest Missouri State. But the physical play of the first half is carried over to the second half.
This is what Creighton wants, the one-on-one right here with Swenson and Moore. Swenson can take him off the dribble.
Swenson blocked by Phillips.
Alan Phillips again. He's active. He's all over the place. Making things happen at both ends of the floor.
Right now, it's like the lead dog in a dog sled. He is pulling this team through this game. 16-12 left, 5-point lead. Let's take a look at the play by Phillips.
But Doug Swenson's got to react quicker when the one-on-one comes about and take it to the hole stronger. Phillips rotates down and helps out again. Creighton's got to be a little bit more up-tempo in their offense.
Oh, good ball fake. Fauntleroy, Moore against Karlikonovich. Good.
Great
and
pass.
Danny Moore's got 10.
Moore flashes hard. Fauntleroy makes a nice ball fake and enters it right to Moore's target.
3-point game. Creighton led by 10 at halftime. The Blue Jays have scored just 3 points in the second half. Buford. Foul. Karlikonovich over the back of Phillips, and that's the 4th foul on Nereus Karlikonovich.
Karlikonovich has got to be smarter right there. He knows he's got 3. Phillips had position on the rebound.
Alan Phillips leading his team on here. And Alan Phillips.
What a terrific floor game he is having. It's not just about points for Alan Phillips, but watch here the defense on Karlikonovich. Great box out. Goes after the basketball. Terrific play. We saw him hustle at the other end to come up with a loose ball. He's all over the place right now. He's got 4 boards and 2 steals.
Along with his 14 points and the save of the loose ball. 46-43. Creighton has a 3-point lead, but has scored in the second half. Creighton only 3 points. Fauntleroy in trouble, traveled with the basketball.
Fauntleroy again getting a little bit out of control. You know, the numbers aren't there. That's a passive press that Creighton has had on the entire game, almost.
But SMS has done an excellent job defensively here. Creighton was very good offensively with 43 first-half points. But SMS, Debbie's made it hard on them here in the second 20 minutes.
And Creighton is standing around offensively. They could do more. They've gotten away from their motion and their activity at the offensive end.
Bates jump hook, rebounded by Buford. Walker scores. Rodney Buford.
What a terrific offensive rebound. No one blocked him out. He gets right to the glass. Keeps it alive.
And Creighton needed that too in the worst way.
Back in the zone. Dane Altman trying to counter defensively.
And he's got foul problems. All sneaking underneath the bottom of the zone and sneaks it past the stringer.
One way to attack the zone is a short corner and get the ball on the baseline. Good passing on the interior.
Or to flay it up the middle like SMS did from the backside. Walker's been there all day. Gets his own rebound somehow. SMS went to sleep and let him get his own board. And Brandon gets a rebound. The guards of Creighton can board. And it's not an aberration, Debbie. They've done it all year. Walker averages 5. Brandon averages 3.
You got to understand how to read the glass, but it's effort going to the boards.
Brandon hits a 3 from the corner. The St. Louis native, who was the hero last night with a season-high 14. It's a big-time 3, but the rebounding keyed it all. Fauntleroy, stolen by Sears, and a foul on Fauntleroy trying to get it back.
That's twice Fauntleroy has tried to attack the front of the 2-2-1, and he's turned it over. But how about the big 3 by Brandon? What a great job to keep the offensive boards alive. Terrific penetration and kick. He made 4 yesterday. Why not drop in a few today?
Sure, he's in his hometown. He's got just gobs of family here. And he enjoyed being center stage yesterday. 6-point lead for Creighton. 13:30 left in the game. Creighton back to that weave look. Brandon. Sears. Back-to-back threes by the Creighton guard. Sears has 11.
You know, Dana Allman goes to the weave, and it gets his team moving offensively. What a great call by Dana Allman.
Creighton in the zone. And Dana Altman's bench has helped him today, too, underneath. Eating up minutes with
Cliff Bates.
And Alt hits it 3 for 3. Alt has 12, all on 3-point bombs.
You've got to know where he is if you're going to run the zone. You can't lose a guy like Kevin Alt. He's too good of a shooter. He doesn't need much room to get it off.
Don't let shooters shoot. Brandon. SMS. The zone look here. The Bears have gone to a zone. Buford gets bumped in the middle. And Bruton has picked up his 3rd foul. So both teams zoning now in the half court.
Well, each coach trying to show their hand, give everything they got right here. Steve Alford's team doesn't play zone very often.
Creighton up 6. They've been living off the 3. Second in the league in threes per game. Brandon has 1. Walker has 1. Buford has 1. Sears has 3.
Back in the man.
14 to shoot. We're at the 12-minute mark. Walker. A dagger. Walker has 19 points as the Creighton guards, 3 different guards, hit threes on 3 consecutive possessions. Nine-point lead for Creighton. Phillips, he can hit this shot. Yep. Alan Phillips has 17, his second 3, 32nd of the year.
And Kevin Alt sets the whole thing up because he's a threat, and he puts it on the floor, and he draws the help in Sears, and Sears can't recover quick enough.
Back to a 6-point game, 57-51, and SMS showing his own look again.
Right now it's zone on makes, man on miss.
Bates against Moore. Ill-advised shot by Cliff Bates.
Not a good choice. Not option number 1 on the floor.
He's the oldest player in the Missouri Valley Conference, but not the wisdom of age there. Phillips, the leaner, with contact. SMS keeps it.
Danny Moore's got to get some touches right here. They got to go inside to him. He's got to work and get in front.
Phillips long on a 3. Foul. I think Sears foul. Yep. Creighton's guard. Ryan Sears, his 2nd foul. 5 team fouls on the Blue Jays. 5 on the Bears as well. And we'll step aside with a media timeout at 10:30. It's raining threes. Walker, the rainmaker for Creighton. Point war here in the last couple of minutes. Those are called the Bear Hairs. The Southwest Missouri State famous student section. Their team trailing by 6, 57-51, 10:30 left in the game.
What a great atmosphere at the Hammond Student Center. Had a chance to be there once SMS the last 4 years at least. What a great place to watch a game.
For both the men and the women. Your women 5th in the nation in attendance. Last year, 6th this year. And the Bear Hair's always there. Men, women, they're there. This is Kevin Alt. 4 3-pointers. Creighton's had a couple 9-point leads, only to see the Bears get right back at them.
And now with Doug Swenson in the game and Danny Moore taking a breather. I'm sorry, Danny Moore in the game. They got to go right at him.
Sets it up for Fauntleroy. The athlete Fauntleroy gets his own rebound. Doug Swenson back in for Creighton. Moore one-on-one scores over the top of Doug Swenson. Danny Moore has 12 points in the game. It's a 4-point contest. And SMS stays in the spread out zone.
There's lots of penetration angles in this zone if you attack it.
It's a triangle and 2. This is almost like a triangle and 2 look. No, they're not chasing Buford. Looks like they were following Sears through, though. Bruton's on Sears.
It's an old matchup zone that you and I like to see.
Yep, Brandon missing a 3, all with the board. 9:30 left in the game. 4-point lead for Creighton. They led the entire way. Last night, SMS had a miracle win in overtime against Indiana State. Foul away from the ball. I think it's on Swenson.
I think this is a good call by Steve Alford to try to find a way to get Danny Moore loose. He's got him running off some baseline screens, and he's working him off the basketball, brings him out, faces him up. Now watch Danny runs Swenson in a 1 screen there. Here comes another screen, and Swenson doesn't even try to get around, and he tries to go through it.
Alt takes it to the basket. He gets hammered, and they're going to call an offensive foul on Alt of Southwest Missouri State.
Ryan Sears taking one for the team.
4 fouls on Kevin Alt. 6th team foul on Southwest Missouri State. Let's take a look at Ryan Sears.
Watch Sears right underneath your basket. Step right up. Square, take the hit. Good thing for the charge because Swenson could have picked up his 4th.
That's what Steve Alford was complaining about. He thought there was the defensive foul prior to the offensive foul. Creighton 57, Southwest Missouri State 53. Alt now has 4 fouls. Phillips, and he's fouled by Walker, trying to hold him up after the steal. Alan Phillips is trying to get this done almost all by himself.
Well, Ryan Sears completely telegraphed that. Ben Walker didn't come to meet the pass.
And Southwest Missouri State's in the 1-on-1.
That's what I'm talking about, Creighton standing around. Look at Ryan Sears. He looks over there and gives Phillips plenty of time to know he's coming that way with it. Phillips is all over the place.
3 steals in the game for Alan Phillips, along with 17 points. He's 2 of 2 at the line to earn the coupon. Alan Phillips, 7 of 10 from the field. Now he's 3 of 3 at the line. 57-55 Creighton. At one time, Creighton led by 14. Now it's a 2-point lead. 8:45 left in the game.
Creighton needs somebody cut to the middle. There goes Buford. They've got to get some activity, some cutters in there, so that SMS can't be so spread in that zone.
Brandon, he's cooled off. Moore with the rebound. Creighton settling for 3s. Phillips. Moore. Out of bounds to Southwest Missouri State. Last touch by Walker in the corner.
Dana Altman being very encouraging with his guys. You got a sense with a 10-point lead at half that you know that SMS is going to try to make a little run at you. And SMS has done a great job of getting this thing within a 1-possession game. And there's the foul on Brandon, holding Phillips.
Let's take a look at Creighton in the ball movement against the zone, but it's all on the perimeter.
Here's where you want to attack the zone, right in there on the baseline, weak side to the elbow. But look, you see one cutter going through there and not enough activity offensively. And Creighton settling for the outside jumpers.
Alan Phillips hits the free throw. He's got 20. He can get his 5th straight foul toss here. Got it. Game is tied. 21 for Alan Phillips. 57-57 tie. And now the Bear fans are going nuts here in St. Louis. The first time the game's been tied since 1844 left in the first half. 8:10 left in the game. 57-57 tie. And SMS is playing this kind of matchup spread out zone.
And they've got the momentum. They have really taken the wind out of the sails of Creighton offensively. And they're not getting any activity on the offensive glass, and they're settling for jumpers.
And those jumpers are coming from three-point range. Ryan Bettenhausen in.
They just need to penetrate the lane, get the ball in there on the pass or off the dribble, Mitch. I'm sorry, they'll better set up their perimeter shooters.
Creighton back to straight man defense. 10 to shoot. Sears on Fauntleroy. Blocking foul on Ryan Sears. And on Sears, that is his 3rd foul. It'll be free throws for William Fauntleroy.
Fauntleroy off the dribble. Tries to take it hard. Nosedive.
Yeah, that was a touchdown. He had a 1-yard run back there early. He's been on the floor more than the mock.
Isn't he one of your Marines?
Yep, Mitch's Missouri Valley Marines. He's one of them. And he made it by elevating his play, not just on the physical part of it, but from the mental and emotional part.
You know, that's a tough team to get on, I hear.
You bet it is. Tony Bruce of Northern Iowa on it. Ben Walker actually made it from Creighton. Matt Woodley of Drake. Mitch's Missouri Valley Marines. Fauntleroy hits both free throws. And the Southwest Missouri State Bears have turned the game around. SMS on a 6-0 run. And the Bears trail at one time by 14. Now they lead by 2.
Missouri State has its first lead, 59-57. And don't forget, fans, it continues next week with the State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Women's Tournament at the Knapp Center in Des Moines. And there's the number to call if you're interested in getting tickets. And Mitch, you always say enjoy your Missouri Valley Conference weekend. I don't know how you couldn't enjoy this Missouri Valley Conference weekend.
Every game has been like this. The margin of victory in the entire tournament thus far, we've had 7. This is the 8th game of the tournament, has been 4 points. We've had 2 overtime games, and everybody in the Missouri Valley wanting 3 teams. More respect. That was actually Dane Altman's son jumping up and down there for a while. He's nervous, as his dad's team has only scored 14 points in the second half and has not shot it well at all.
No, they haven't at all. They shot at 58% the first half, 29% here in the second half.
Lob to Rodney Buford, knocked away. Karlikonovas picks it up.
Karlikonovas with 4 fouls back in the game, and Dane Altman couldn't wait anymore to keep him over there. He's been pretty active on the glass.
Difference is this match-up zone. Sears nearly turns it over. Buford with 2 seconds on a shot clock. Hits it from almost 25 feet. Rodney Buford, with 12 points in the game, now is in the top 10 of all-time scores in the 92-year history of the Missouri Valley Conference. And Creighton has the lead 60-59 on that shot. But you know what? Steve Alford can't complain because Royce Waltman from Indiana State would go, now wait a minute, see what it feels like? That's the shot that Fauntleroy hit last night to take it to overtime. Held ball. No possession. Creighton has it. They had possession and had a timeout called. A 22nd timeout. Heads up play by Donnie Johnson of Creighton. With 2 seconds on the shot clock. Watch Buford.
Watch this right here. Good defense to force Creighton way out. Buford. 1 second on the shot clock left when it fell in the hoop.
From the base of the arch, he hits that shot. And with that, enters the top 10 all-time in the history of the Missouri Valley in scoring.
Congratulations to that guy. In his senior year, he's been a lot of fun to watch.
All-time Creighton leader in steals, third active scorer in Division I basketball in all of D1 hoop. 60-59 Creighton by 1, 6:14 left in the game. SMS stays in that spread out matchup. It's proven effective for Southwest Missouri State.
But you can see how much more active Creighton is trying to attack. They're looking more aggressive with the basketball in their hands, trying to get it inside.
Karlikonovis gets the roll, the Lithuanian. This is his first second half two. The first ever Creighton player from a foreign country gives Creighton a 3-point lead. Phillips bumped by Johnson. And that's 4 fouls on Donnie Johnson of Creighton. Creighton's got a problem with fouls.
When Donnie Johnson gets caught in no man's land right here, because either you go for the steal or you go for containment. He gets caught in between, and Phillips puts the ball on the floor and takes it hard.
And Alan Phillips goes to the line to shoot for Southwest Missouri State. Alan Phillips has tied his career high. He has 22 points. He had previously in Springfield against Creighton for Steve Alford's team. Against his same Creighton club, he has 22 points in the semifinals. He has 22 of the 60 Southwest Missouri State points. Alt has 12, Moore has 12.
This zone has been a great tactic by SMS. It's really slowed down Creighton, except for Rodney Buford starting to come alive.
You know what he saw on the board? You showed it in the telestrator at the last break. He went right to the void of the zone. Fauntleroy in trouble. Buford picks his pocket and will go to the line to shoot 2 shots. Fauntleroy called for the foul.
Well, I just think Dana Altman uses the 20 to set his club up offensively, to look more aggressive with the basketball instead of being so passive. Watch Rodney Buford move without the basketball and cut to the middle. Exactly what we were talking about. On the ball reversal, he times it just right. Sets the back pick and then fades to the basket. Good movement and good work off the basketball.
15 for Rodney Buford, just 4 last night. He's 3 for 3 at the line in the game. He only had 9 points against Southwest Missouri State in that win at Springfield. And gives Creighton a little bitty cushion here at 6. 66-60 Creighton. Steve Alford wants timeout. The Blue Jays volley the tennis ball back into the court of Southwest Missouri State. And it's a 20-second timeout called by Southwest Missouri State. Dana Altman spent a year at Marshall as a head coach. He was an assistant under Lon Kruger at Kansas State. Prior to that, he was a great junior college coach in both Nebraska and Missouri. He's had some great players down through the years, including Mitch Richmond. And Mitch Richmond will tell you straight up that he credits Dana Altman for basically saving his life, getting him out of the tough projects of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and turning him into a basketball player.
With an awesome crossover dribble.
And it's Creighton's turn to cheer at the way this game has been back and forth. Truly a game of runs. Southwest Missouri State not far behind by 6. And now SMS almost looking for Phillips as much as they are anybody else on this team.
Well, you got to keep Kevin Alt in check. You know he can shoot it from a 3-point land. He's already shown he can do that. You got to contain Fauntleroy's penetration.
Phillips, baseline, slides through. It's out of bounds to Creighton.
Well, Swenson's got to come out and contain better than that. Phillips beat him, flat out beat him to the baseline. Watch how quick and explosive this is. He is gone. Good help by Klein to rotate over.
John Klein.
Inside 5 minutes on the floor for Creighton.
Walk-on from Sioux City. An official's timeout has been called.
He lost his whistle. That's what happened. Came off the clip.
Tim Hutchison loses his whistle. Steve Alford was thinking, wait a minute, that's the guy that teed me up earlier in the game. Steve didn't yank it off real quick, did he? Just teasing. Tim, a veteran official.
Never seen that happen in all the years I've been doing games.
66-60. Creighton with a 6-point lead in the ball, 4:27 left in the game. SMS looks like they're going to a straight man. Alt with the rebound. Good defense on Buford. Phillips, the pull-up, rattles out. He got robbed. It was halfway down.
Boy, Phillips is thinking he's a shooter the way he came off that down screen and tried to fire quickly.
Why not? 22 today. Let it crank.
SMS needs a defensive stop right here without fouling.
They've gone back to the straight man.
Switching on perimeter screens. Stringers on Buford.
12 to shoot for Creighton at 6. Buford mishandled. Stringer's great defense forces a turnover.
That's a timing thing right there. A lack of communication and timing on the offensive end.
Rodney Buford out of his slumber. Now has 16. He's hit some big buckets. Creighton has a 6-point lead. Allies are still there. Alfred's allies with the helmets on, ready to hit the beach. Maybe they'll bring the Bears back. They've got their own logo now. These guys are getting sophisticated.
Yeah, I bet they got that thing licensed. They're probably selling T-shirts and everything.
It's based in the Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity at Southwest Missouri State in Springfield.
Here we go, Mitch. It's exactly the way we expected this game would come down, to the wire.
It's the way every game has been in this tournament, remarkably. The way most of them have been all season.
The tempo has really slowed down. The first half, they both came out slugging, and now they're just kind of feeling each other out.
On for 3. Air ball. Karlikonovas on the rebound, and Creighton was zoning again.
Creighton wants to attack. They don't want to get too passive offensively. The way SMS can shoot threes.
SMS has also done an excellent job when it gets to 15 on the shot clock of just cranking up its defense even more and making it hard on Creighton here the last couple of minutes. 14 to shoot. Swenson backs in. He is fouled by Danny Moore.
That's what I'm talking about against Danny Moore. Use the bounce. Don't try to shoot over the top of him. Use your dribble and try to create something and then see what you got.
Danny Moore's picked up his third. Watch Swenson work.
Watch Swenson right here. He gets a pin. That's a good move. Good footwork. But Swenson's got to take that thing up strong, not fade. He's lucky to get the foul.
Our replays is always a service to the great people at State Farm Insurance. Doug Swenson, no field goals in this game. Free throw good. He has just 3 points. He averages 13. Last night, he struggled, but he had 1 field goal last night. 6 free throws. I mean, Creighton is doing this without its second leading scorer and best pivot scorer really not doing that much.
They've been relying on the jump shot, Mitch. It hasn't been really like they've established a major presence inside. They've been good on the glass. But Donnie Johnson's foul trouble, Karlikonovas with foul trouble, really kept Creighton from establishing it inside.
8-point Creighton lead, 68-60, 2:45 left to go in the game. Phillips, Sears in front of him.
SMS just needs to get a bucket here. They don't need a 3.
Great feed into Moore. He had a great look and missed the point blanker. That's 2 close looks that Moore's not been able to finish.
SMS wants to get up tight in their grill right now, between the elbows.
Sears, Swenson attacks Moore. Blocked by Moore. Blocked again by Moore. Danny Moore, 4 blocks in the game.
That's why I want Doug Swenson to square up and go strong.
Foul is going to be called here. Here is Karlikonovas is fouled out of the game.
Watch Danny Moore right here. Doug Swenson, that's what I'm talking about. Not going up strong, fading away. But Danny Moore stays after it. And when Swenson doesn't square his body to the glass, it gives Moore an opportunity to block those shots.
There is Karlikonovas, a Lithuanian. He was forced to set out a couple games, including a loss at home to Indiana State we had on TV because of And NCAA questioning the role of Lithuanians around the country playing. That affected several programs, and you know it really affected Creighton.
They lost 2 games with him gone. 10 days of him not being sure whether he's in the lineup or not. And I think that is a factor when the NCAA committee is looking and reviewing at whether Creighton, despite what happens in this game, should get in the tournament.
Because the moral of the story was no improprieties were found at any school, including Creighton.
And Creighton was penalized 2 games and 2 losses that potentially, I'm not saying that they would have won, but they potentially could have. That should be a piece of criteria that factors in on the NCAA selection committee.
Well, let's put it this way. Does 21-6 sound better than 19-8?
Absolutely.
If Creighton wins today, it'll be the 20th win. 1:58 left. Foul. Stringer. SMS. But still the 1-1. It's only the 19th foul against the Bears. 1:57 left in this semifinal game. 3rd foul on Stringer.
Ben Walker, not a great free throw shooter, around 57%. So maybe not such a bad foul.
But in this game, he has 3 for 3. That was all in the first half, though. Well, he's working on all tournament. Double-double last night, 19 in this game. Free throw good, Walker.
That makes it a 3-possession game inside 2 minutes.
He hits the next one. It'll be a career high. Ties a career high of 21 against Southwest Missouri State earlier this year. So Phillips likes the blue, and Walker likes the maroon. 70-62 Creighton. The Creighton fans starting to anticipate it. But if they watched the game last night, Indiana State also felt like they had a win.
There's no guy in the SMS Bears, that's for sure. And after what we saw last night.
Brandon Miller turns down a 3. Fauntleroy. Phillips for 3. Yes! Alan Phillips gives SMS hope with another 3-pointer. 25 points for Alan Phillips, a career high. 70-65 Creighton, still 1:41 left in the game. It's a full timeout. We're going to move aside. We'll be back with the final after this. Creighton leading 70-65, 1:41 left in the game, and Southwest Missouri State showing all court pressure here.
Full court pressure. They cannot get beat long. They cannot foul in this possession. Creighton wants to score if it's available. If not, run a little clock.
They get it in to Ben Walker. Bruton on him. Both teams in the double bonus.
Look how Fauntleroy is face guarding Sears. He's not going to let him try to catch it off.
Walker sped up. Swenson. A tie-up.
Good job by Steve Alford to deny Ryan Sears the point guard with which the offense flows through.
They're going to go to the arrow. Steve Alford is protesting. They went to the arrow. Mike Sanzier said it was a simultaneous tie-up. Steve Alford said his defense forced it. It should be SMS's ball in his opinion. Instead, they went to the arrow. The arrow pointed to Creighton.
There's 22 seconds on the shot clock. SMS has got to play good D right here.
He lobs it out front, Sears does. This is Swenson. Shot clock a factor at 17 seconds. 1:20 left in the game. Walker attacks on Brute. Walker's been there all day. Not there, but gets his own rebound. Tips it over to Brandon.
And a fresh clock. Now SMS might have to think about fouling.
70-65, Sears being hounded. How about the rebounding prowess of Ben Walker? Some gigantic, and now a foul will be called on Brute.
Steve Alford was calling for the foul, and no one heard him.
The stat sheet says foul Ben Walker is only 56%. But today, he is 5 for 5 at the foul line. And Steve Alford will put some offensive guns in at the next opportunity.
Steve Alford trying to figure out with Kevin Hall what play he wants to run here. SMS is going to look for the 3. They're going to have their 3-point shooters in the lineup with all coming in the game.
Creighton has a big score today from Wisconsin, and it's not Rodney Buford, who's from Milwaukee. Ben Walker's from Oak Creek, Wisconsin, 7 of 7 at the line, a career-high 23 points for Ben Walker. Creighton leads by 7. We're inside a minute. Phillips Nearly stolen. Sears. Did he get the steal? He did. And a timeout by Creighton. Sears got the steal and a chance to call timeout.
That's a heads-up play by Ryan Sears, who called the timeout on the floor.
Let's go ahead and announce our champion players of the game. From Southwest Missouri State, Alan Phillips, a career-high 25 points, 5 rebounds, 8 field goals. 3 of those 8 were three-pointers. And our champion player of the game for Creighton University, Ben Walker, a career-high 23 points, 7 of 7 at the stripe. He's a 56% shooter coming in. 7 of 12 from field goal range, and 2 of those 7 were three-pointers. 14 in the first half and 9 in the second half for Ben Walker, plus some huge offensive rebounds for Creighton.
The theme in the tournament has been the play of the guards. You know, Mitch, I've talked about that through the course of our broadcast. You've got to have good guard play to win down the stretch, and that's what we're seeing. Phillips, who plays a small forward or a 3 spot. With Ben Walker rebounding, drawing the tough defensive assignment, knocking down the big buckets, and making the free throws when they're the most important juncture in the game.
Plus, you also mentioned Ben Walker at the outset of the telecast and his importance to this team and in this game.
He's got size, he's physical, he understands the way Dana Altman wants him to play. Combines with Corey Brandon and Ryan Sears to make a good, versatile combo in the backcourt for Creighton. I like the Creighton 3-guard look that Dana Altman goes to. Right here, he's got his best free throw shooters on the floor and his best ball handlers.
Buford whips it, takes it in from Swenson. Sears has it now. They don't want to foul him. He's 80%er. Brandon gets fouled. He's 74%. Plus, it's the double bonus. He'll get 2 shots with 35 seconds left in the game and a 72-65 Creighton lead. Steve Alford crouches. You've got to now wonder, this team, probably more than any in the Missouri Valley, other than Evansville, the regular season champion, should get into the tournament. They've had a high RPI all season long, a win at Missouri. They've had some great non-conference wins, but they've had if the RPI is a factor at all, then put the Bears in the tournament.
I agree with you completely. I think Steve Alford has done a magnificent job with the team this year. As we look at Ryan Sears, a little contact trouble. But yes, the RPI, if that measures and means anything, because it certainly means something in the Big Ten, the ACC, the Big East, and it better mean something in the Valley also.
Steve Alford's team has been in high RPI all year, in the teens. They've hovered right out in the late 20s, early 30s. Let's take a look now. The conference, the Missouri Valley, just fraction behind the Big 12 conference. But the league's been 7th all year long. And keep in mind, no team that's been 7th, I think 8th, has ever had less than 3 teams in the postseason tournament. And look at SMS, Devin.
That's what we're talking about right there, 31, and it has been as low as in the teens this season.
They're dealing with Ryan Sears and a contact problem.
Even Dana Altman was involved in helping him fix that contact. That's how badly he wants Sears on the floor.
Amateur optometrist. Brandon with the free throw. Yes, 4. The Creighton fans are celebrating. They've not won this tournament, Creighton hasn't, since 1991. SMS won it in 1992.
SMS has got to attack.
And Creighton's on the verge of getting 3 victories this season over Southwest Missouri State. A 3 by Phillips. Alan Phillips, 28 points in one of the great performances in recent years for Southwest Missouri State at Arch Madness.
What a terrific game. The whole package today. Knocking down the important, crucial 3-pointers, playing defense. Brandon Miller sets this up with his penetration. Good-looking jump shot.
Brandon will have 2 shots. Just hit 2. Brandon from here in St. Louis, went to Mineral Area Community College and signed for Dana Altman at Creighton. And I think the Creighton fans are reminding the SMS fans that it's a sweep for the season. Something the Bear fans don't want to hear. Fauntleroy lays it up and in. Fauntleroy, that's his first field goal of the game. He has 6 free throws. William Fauntleroy just 1 field goal, and we both mentioned he would be a key to the game.
We talked about him at the very beginning of the game, how he has improved all areas of his game, and as you prepare for SMS, you know you've got Danny Moore and Kevin Ault. Now Alan Phillips, of course, as the game went on, but William Fauntleroy has been the barometer for this SMS team. He just didn't have a good offensive game tonight.
21 seconds left in the game. Let's take a look at our Rawlings play of the game. SMS was putting the heat on Creighton. The clock shot whittling down.
Right here in the zone, Ryan Sears gets the ball knocked away to Rodney Buford. Now look at the shot clock. 6:50 in the game, 1 second on the shot clock when it falls through. That was a big Rawlings play of the game today.
Rodney Buford with a Rawlings play of the game, 76-70. 21 seconds left in the game. Now we can't quite give the eulogy yet to Southwest Missouri State. It's still a 6-point game, 2 threes. Creighton still has to get the ball in play, and still 21 seconds. Now, last night, Southwest Missouri State, people were shoveling dirt on them last night, and they came back from the dead with a Lazarus move on a deep 3 by William Fauntleroy that took it to overtime. Royce Waltman still probably shaking his head, the Indiana State coach.
Well, Indiana State missed some free throws, the front end of a couple 1-and-1s down the stretch, and that gave SMS the opportunity, and the same thing could happen here. Creighton knows they're going to be fouled. SMS might look to commit the foul before the clock starts ticking. They've got to make their free throws.
Swenson gets it into Brandon, who dribbles back toward the SMS basket. They break half court, and Bruton's fouling. Sears will get the free throws.
Took 7 seconds off the game clock. Ryan Sears, who's a very good free throw shooter, 82% on the season, has a chance to put it away.
2 for 2 in this game. Ron Bruton fouls out for Southwest Missouri State with just 2 points. Ryan Sears 2 for 2 at the line. There's only 2 free throws, technical free throws. Shot less than 4 minutes into the game when Steve Alford was called for a technical foul. In fact, Sears has 3 threes and 2 ones, make it 3 ones. 12 for Ryan Sears. A prototype computer-generated point guard. Everything you want in a point guard, he gives.
Absolutely. Scores, distributes.
And interesting on the other side, this kid may, for the future of SMS, be important, Brandon Miller, because Fauntleroy really not a true point guard, nor is Kevin Ault. It's almost like they play 2 off guards in the SMS lineup.
Well, Steve Alford really likes him too. Brandon Miller, you're talking about, he can shoot it. He's very good on the defensive end. There's a lot of small point guards in this league.
78-70, break bill. Swenson with the rebound, and Creighton's going to the finals. The Creighton Blue Jays are going to the championship game of the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament as the Blue Jays have beaten the Southwest Missouri State Bears. Final score, Creighton 78, Southwest Missouri State 70. Creighton picks up its 20th win of the season. You got to put them in the NCAA tournament. Southwest Missouri State is 20-10, a high RPI. They make a giant claim to get to the NCAA tournament, plus Evansville has 23 wins. They're going to play in the finals tomorrow night against the Creighton Blue Jays for first place in this tournament. Creighton wins it 78-70. Behind a big night from Ben Walker. It has been an incredible weekend of Arch Madness here in St. Louis. John Walters, this league has lived up to its reputation the last couple of days.
No question about it, Mitch. Great job by you and Debbie in a terrific tournament so far here in St. Louis, and it only gets better tomorrow night when Creighton takes on Evansville in the championship game at 8:30 Central Time. The action has been fast and furious. We've seen 8 games now decided by a total of 32 points, an average of just 4 points a game. And Creighton wins this one by 8.
The Missouri Valley Conference tomorrow night will send its automatic qualifier to the tournament. It may be the best year of 92 years of the oldest conference west of the Mississippi River. Culminates with Creighton against Evansville tomorrow night for the trophy. Winners today, Creighton and Evansville. A winner all season long, the fans of the Missouri Valley Conference. For Debbie Antonelli, this is Mitch Holtis. Enjoy your Missouri Valley week.